He hadn't come to the bar looking for a deal, especially not one involving a person. Cray just needed a new hydraulic valve, maybe a couple of working fuses. Instead, he got a drunk alien pressing a bottle of illegal blackroot into his hand and muttering, "Take her. She's yours now." Behind him stood a girl, tall, flushed, and visibly shaking in the shadows. Her skin shimmered faintly, and her wide golden eyes looked like she hadn't slept in a week. Cray blinked. "I don't want her. She needs someone. And I need this." The stepfather clutched the bottle like it held the answers to the universe. "Hold on. You're giving away a whole person for a drink? She's overflowing. It's not safe anymore." That word again. Overflowing. He glanced at the girl. Her chest rose and fell too fast. There was something wrong, sure, but she wasn't feral. She looked terrified. Cray sighed, already regretting everything. "Fine. But if she explodes in my hab unit, I'm mailing your corpse back in pieces." The trade happened. No signatures. Just a slosh of the bottle and a muttered goodbye. The girl followed him silently. He tried to ignore the way everyone stared as they walked down the corridor. Some whispered. Others laughed. He heard the phrase, "lucky human," more than once. His face tightened. Back at his unit, she hovered awkwardly just inside the door. He motioned to the bench. "Sit. Breathe. Talk." She sat, but didn't talk. Not at first. Her breath came in fast, shallow bursts. Her eyes were dilated. Sweat rolled down her neck. Cray grabbed a med scanner and swept it over her. "Heart rate's off the charts. Internal temps way too high. You on something?" She shook her head. "It's the flow." "The what now?" "My body builds pressure. Hormonal, psychic. If I don't release it..." Her voice broke. "I rupture." He dropped the scanner. "Rupture? I haven't had treatment in 6 cycles. He said I was too expensive." Cray rubbed his temples. "So instead of helping you, he traded you for a bottle?" She looked down. "I'm used to it. Overflowing with need, too much trouble." That phrase again. Overflowing. It didn't mean what everyone thought it did. She wasn't some cartoon fantasy. She was sick. He brought her water, food paste, and a blanket. She blinked at him like it was the first kindness she'd seen in years. "I don't want anything from you," he said plainly. "I just want you stable. Then we figure out the rest." She sipped. Her hands trembled. "You're a human," she said eventually. "Most wouldn't take me. I didn't take you. You got dropped on my lap like an unpaid power bill." Her lips twitched. Almost a smile. "But you didn't say no." He cursed under his breath and started rummaging for cooling gel and any anti-inflammatory compounds. "You got a name?" "Laxa." "Great," he said. "Let's try to keep you from exploding, Laxa." Her laugh was quiet, almost weightless. "You're different." "Different how?" "You're not afraid to touch me. Most flinch when I start leaking energy. Lady, I've pulled teeth out of a Grockner's sphincter. You're a walk in the park." She laughed louder. And then groaned, holding her side. "Too much. It's building again." He ran another scan. Her internal psi pressure was rising. Cells literally glowed. "What do you usually do when this happens?" "Hum. Move. Press against soft surfaces. But I was isolated last cycle. I didn't finish." Cray's brain itched. Everything she said had the rhythm of something dirty, but it wasn't. She was being clinical. Honest. "Fine," he said, exhaling. "Start humming. I'll build you something padded." He cobbled together a pressure harness from his old shock absorption gear. She watched him work, eyes soft. "You're not like him. I'm not like most people." "No," she said. "You actually listen." When she put the harness on, her back arched, and she let out a noise halfway between a gasp and a moan. He froze. "Too tight?" "No. It's good. It helps." God, it was going to be a long week. She curled on the couch after, wrapped in the blanket, still glowing slightly but calmer. I didn't expect someone like you, she murmured. I thought he'd trade me to a merchant. Or worse. I'm a mechanic. Not a savior. But you fixed something. She smiled faintly. You fixed me. He didn't reply. He just checked the pressure gauge. Still dangerously high. But manageable. She yawned. If I fall asleep, will you watch over me? No, he said. I'll be fixing my recycler. Sleep if you want. But he didn't fix the recycler. He sat nearby, arms crossed, eyes watching her glow fade slowly as she drifted off. Overflowing with need. They all said it like it was vulgar. But what she needed wasn't dirty. It was attention. Stability. And maybe, just maybe, someone who didn't treat her like a bottle to trade. The next morning, Cray found her meditating upside down on the ceiling. Not standing. Not floating. Meditating. Eyes closed, tail dangling, and a low hum vibrating from her chest like a subwoofer having an emotional breakdown. Is this part of the therapy? He asked. Laxa's eyes opened slowly. The gravity field equalizes pressure. Helps the flow. You're defying physics. I'm self-regulating. On my ceiling. She dropped without warning, landed in a crouch, and stretched like a cat that just broke 5 laws of motion. The harness buzzed faintly, still active, but clearly straining. Cray checked the calibration. You're overloading it. I'm stabilizing. You're glowing again. It's a flare-up. You said you were stable? She tilted her head. I said manageable. You're projecting optimism. He sighed and tightened the straps. You need long-term regulation. Not patchwork fixes. She smiled. You sound like a caretaker. I sound like a man trying not to get sued by a melting alien. She followed him around the room as he grabbed tools. Every time he reached for something, she was just a little too close. She didn't mean it. But she vibrated, literally, with an energy that turned every small movement into something suggestive. Laxa, stop orbiting me. I'm synced to your motion field. You're my grounding point. That's not a real thing. It is now. He didn't argue. It wasn't worth the headache. Instead, he built a small pressure venting chamber using parts from his broken shower. She stepped inside eagerly and purred as the soft mist hissed around her. This feels like for vapor, she whispered. Soothing. Just recycled steam and scent neutralizer. You've made therapy sensual. It's plumbing. Outside, the colony AI chimed in. Attention resident Cray Marlin. Your guest Laxa has not been registered. Do you require cohabitation licensing? Cray muttered under his breath. No. Laxa blinked. That sounded like a yes. False, he said loudly. Under Section 4.12.2 of the Alien-Human Interaction Pact, shared residence beyond 48 hours implies tacit bonding intent. Cray froze. We're not bonded. You smell like her now, the AI noted. Your couch emits matching hormonal trace. She leaks on everything, Cray growled. I mark safe zones, Laxa corrected. It's polite. The AI paused. Registering emotional codependence and containment agreement. Congratulations. Cray pointed at the ceiling. Delete that sentence. Logged. Later, while installing a manual pressure regulator into Laxa's harness, she stared at him with unnerving softness. You're very gentle with tools. I fix things. That's all. You haven't tried to use me. Because I'm not a scumbag. She tilted her head. Most think overflowing is an invitation. A permission. They're wrong. She smiled faintly. That's why I don't mind leaking around you. Cray nearly dropped the wrench. Stop saying things that sound like innuendos. They're not innuendos. They're medical truths. They're ruining my life. The next day, a neighbor dropped by. Saw Laxa lounging in a robe made from Cray's thermal blanket, steam rising off her shoulders. Her glow had intensified again. Whoa, the neighbor said. Didn't know you were into surge types. I'm not, Cray snapped. She seems comfy. She's metabolically unstable. Sure, man. Happens. When he left, Cray buried his face in his hands. You're becoming a rumor. I'm already a warning sign in my species dating database, she said casually. That night, she cooked using psionic energy. Somehow, the food came out spicy, even though there were no spices involved. He didn't ask. She sat beside him and leaned close. Is this how humans bond? Eating? No. Sitting in quiet suffering while pretending not to want touch. Cray blinked. I'm not suffering. You are. I feel it. He stared straight ahead. You don't feel anything. I feel your restraint. Your breath patterns. Your jaw tension. Also, your socks are mismatched. That's not related. She tilted her head again. I could help you unwind. With your hormones still at DEFCON 2? I can hum at low frequencies. Absolutely not. I could apply forehead-to-forehead grounding. That's called a head where I'm from. She giggled. Then curled under the blanket, eyes half-lidded. You're the first person who hasn't feared me when I was glowing. That's probably a mistake. Maybe. But you're mine now. No, I'm your mechanic. Same thing in my culture. Cray didn't respond. He just turned up the fan and tried not to notice her tail curling closer each night. He found her crouched in the corner, arms wrapped tight around herself, the harness overloaded and humming like a broken reactor. Her glow pulsed too fast. Heat shimmered off her skin, and the wall behind her was starting to warp. Cray dropped everything and crouched next to her. How long? Since last night, she whispered. Didn't want to bother you. You nearly cooked the damn wiring, he muttered, pulling out the emergency coolant and spraying her back. Steam hissed into the air. You told me not to depend on you. I also told you to yell if you were about to burst. She winced. I didn't want to make you think I was using you. Cray swore under his breath. He checked the regulator, fried. She'd pushed past the threshold by sheer will. Stubborn, reckless, and completely untrained. You're not a burden. You're a maintenance problem I haven't solved yet. She laughed, cracked and weak. That's romantic. It's honest. He unplugged the scorched harness, guided her to the table, and replaced the core. She didn't speak again until the buzz calmed. Her glow dimmed slightly. I was mocked for this, she said. In school. My body matured early. I was already swelling by the end of my first year. He kept working. Quiet. Listening. They called me names. Overflower. Flubbait. Said I should be milked like a machine before I hurt someone. Cray clenched his jaw. My stepfather took me when my mother died. Didn't understand the condition. Thought it was shameful. Wanted me hidden. Then traded me when he saw the signs coming again. You're not a thing to trade, Cray said flatly. Then why did everyone treat me like one? He didn't answer that. Instead, he handed her a new stabilizer, one he built using a power coupling from his spare engine block. It was heavy, ugly, and lined with soft gel. Try this. It's crude, but it'll vent the pressure across a wider field. She slid into it like it was custom-tailored. When it clicked into place, her whole body relaxed. A low sigh escaped her lips. You built this for me? I built it so you wouldn't burn down my walls. But you adjusted it for my posture. And my tail. He looked away. Engineering habit. You care, she said softly. I care about not dying in a psionic accident. That's all. She leaned her head on his shoulder. He didn't move. Cray. What? You're the only person who's ever tried to understand this. Not fix it. Just understand it. I don't understand it. You're listening. That's enough. They sat like that for a while. No buzzers. No glares. No sarcastic remarks. Just quiet hums and the faint flicker of her light, slowly pulsing like a heartbeat that finally found rhythm. You know, she said eventually. Your skin regulates temperature inefficiently. Your ears flush when you're annoyed. I'm aware. And you pretend to hate attention, but you soften when someone thanks you without obligation. Cray frowned. Stop reading me like a manual. I'm just tuned into your field. You leak emotions like an open faucet. He chuckled once. You're calling me the leaky one now? Only a little. He stood. I've been thinking. That's dangerous. He gave her a look. You need long-term regulation. Which means either formal treatment or a partner. She went still. Her glow wavered. I'm not saying I want to be that. I'm saying you need someone willing to sync with you, regularly. Safely. Like a psionic anchor. You're talking about soul pairing. She whispered. I'm talking about medical maintenance, he said dryly. But call it whatever makes you feel better. Her expression softened. You'd be tethered to me. Temporarily. No. There's no temporary once it's locked. He ran a hand through his hair. Then maybe we figure out another option. But she leaned forward, hand over his. You already tethered to me. You just haven't admitted it. He didn't pull away. You call me a problem, but you built me a solution. You say you want quiet, but you never asked me to leave. You pretend you don't care, but you know the exact shade my glow turns when I'm about to flare. Cray stared at her, then down at their hands. You're not wrong, he said finally. You're exhausting, invasive, confusing, and the first thing I think about when I wake up. She smiled. Then say it. He exhaled. I care. Say it like a mechanic. You're an unsolvable design flaw I want to keep working on. Her eyes shimmered. That's the most beautiful thing anyone's ever said to me. She shifted slightly, pressure stabilizer humming like a lullaby. You still overflow? He asked. Less when you're close. It evens out. Then we make a schedule. No more burnout. No more hiding. And definitely no more bartering for bottles. She chuckled. What did he even trade me for anyway? Something that tasted like engine grease and regret. She grinned. Then I'm definitely worth more. By several crates. She kissed his cheek without warning. Just a touch. Then leaned against him again. You know, she whispered. I think we just synchronized. Cray didn't argue. He just reached for the cooling gel. And the backup stabilizer. Just in case. 3 days later, Laxa hovered upside down again, but this time with complete control. Her glow was no longer erratic, no pulses of pressure bursting out unexpectedly. The stabilizer hummed at a calm, steady frequency. The weird part wasn't that she floated. It was that the air around her was calm, warm, even pleasant. Cray watched from the doorway, arms folded, pretending not to be impressed. You're not overheating. I know. You haven't warped a single pipe today. I know. Even the couch cushion isn't stuck to your back anymore. Laxa landed gracefully. You sound disappointed. He shrugged. I got used to your glow lighting up the tool drawers. You liked it. No. I adapted. You like adapting to me. I like not needing to rebuild my ceiling insulation every morning. She laughed, sauntered over, and flopped onto the couch. You don't say it, but I feel it. You feel a lot of things. Your heart rate changes when I sit too close. That's called proximity tension. Very normal. You breathe slower when I hum in the background. That's called unconscious grounding. Also normal. You haven't looked away from me once since I landed. That's because I'm still trying to figure out how you float with no effort. You like that I float. I like that you don't set off the fire alarm anymore. She reached over and flicked the hem of his shirt with her tail. You're terrible at emotional honesty. I'm honest. Just efficient. Fine. Then here's efficiency. I'm happy. I haven't ruptured in days. I sleep. I hum. And I like waking up knowing you'll still be here. Cray stared at her for a long moment, then picked up a data slate. The colony registry filed a bonding notice. Her ears twitched. They did? It's public. Name. Photo. Quote. Yours says he smells like control, and I want to wrap my tail around his discipline. I didn't know they'd publish that. You're now officially listed as soul bonded under medical cooperation clause. I was honest, she said, not a trace of apology. I'm now getting private messages from people asking if I provide pressure maintenance services. You could start a clinic. Absolutely not. She stretched. They're jealous. Because I glow for you and no one else. You glow because I built a stabilizer out of leftover coolant lines. You glow because you like that I need you. Cray didn't respond. He just crossed the room and turned off the lights. Her body lit the entire space in soft amber and violet. The glow had changed, no longer wild, but rhythmic, pulsing like her own controlled heartbeat. Is that better? She whispered. It's quieter. Comfortable. Warm? He sat beside her. Yeah. Warm. She laid her head against him, sighing. You were supposed to be a trade. A regret. Something I'd survive. You were supposed to be a malfunction I patched once and ignored. Now you're my anchor. Now you're my impossible maintenance log that keeps evolving without warranty. They sat in silence for a while. She draped her tail across his lap, not possessively, just present. There's an envoy coming, he said after a while. Your species' medical board. They heard about the stabilization. What do they want? To study the method. Replicate the results. Maybe even relocate you for a formal lab environment. She tensed. You'd let them take me? I told them to rot. She relaxed. You're getting protective. I don't give away parts I've calibrated myself. I'm not a part. No. You're something I never planned for, and now I can't shut up about. She kissed his cheek again, slower this time. He didn't flinch. I'm still overflowing sometimes, she murmured. But not from pressure. He nodded. Yeah. I noticed. It's affection now. Hope. Weird dreams. I think I dreamed about your socks last night. That's unsettling. They smelled like you. Grounded. He rolled his eyes. Even your affection is strange. I'm not trying to be human. I know. I like that you're not. A soft beep interrupted them. The colony AI chirped from overhead. Congratulations. Your cohabitation period has exceeded voluntary pairing parameters. Automatic listing as bonded confirmed. Cray groaned. It's just a glitch, Laxa whispered. Or maybe it's true. He didn't deny it. Later, they sat on the porch outside the hab. She leaned against him, quiet. No glow, no surge, just stillness. You feel stable? He asked. I feel like I belong. He nodded. You were never a trade. Or a burden. You were just someone who needed to be taken seriously. And you were someone who needed to care again. I still don't know what we are. She smiled. We're synced. That's enough. The wind passed, light and even. No warps. No flare-ups. Just the faint scent of ozone and the hum of two mismatched systems running in harmony. For once, everything worked. Even the couch stayed on the ground.